go. See? Hell yeah. I need to actually change this. I don't want to hear my own voice. I don't like that.
Head rotation, I gotta do that too.
Are you plugged into the mic?
No, I changed it up so it would monitor, right? So I could hear my own voice.
God damn it.
But it wouldn't show up on the stream. But I don't like hearing my own voice. That's kind of weird. But anyway, hey, so funny story of the bar, right? So
Yes.
got done at 3 in the morning. Went to First Chance, hanging out there. Girl tried to kiss me because she was super fucking drunk. Spent about 2 hours there making sure she wasn't gonna do anything else crazy. She was completely just
Plastered.
yeah. She grabbed me, started licking my ear, and I'm like, this is really fucking weird. But then she bit my ear. And then she bit my arm, and then she bit my hand, and then my shoulder, and she's like, hey, we should go to your place. And I'm like, that's an idea that we're not gonna follow through on. And so I got her some more water. She drank some more water, smiled, and then spit at me, which was disgusting. But yeah. So the girls that were at the bar that I'm friends with, the bartenders, were like, hey, this is like a really bad situation. I'm like, yeah. Considering the blood that's on my cheek right now after she bit me, I would say yes. And yes, she did. She actually broke skin on my cheek, and I didn't actually realize it until like way after. So eventually she goes to the bathroom, and I'm like talking to her friend who's like the sober one, but even she's not very sober. I'm like, hey, it might be a good idea. Like, just hear me out. It might be a good idea if you guys just head home, because one of your friends is biting just about every single guy, and she's very, very touchy, and some places which I'd rather not have her touch. And she's very interested in going home with me, but I feel like if I end up doing that, she's definitely not gonna remember what happened, and I'm not about to start that whole fucking thing, because that's a whole thing. So she comes back out of the bathroom, starts hanging on some random other dudes, biting their shoulders to the point where one was starting to get really fucking pissed off, and another guy was being very, very touchy in some places he probably shouldn't have been, so I had to pull her away. And so I took her back to the spot where she was sitting at, and I was talking to her, quote, sober friend. Hey, let's get you guys a taxi. She's like, well, look, you can take my friend home if you want. I'm like, that's, again, an idea that I'm not going to go through with.
That's a great friend.
Yeah, that friend's not.
Hey, my friend's really drunk and hitting on everybody, but you can totally tap that if you want.
It gets a lot worse because her other friend that was there was passed out, and even she was like, hey, my friend and I can go to your place. I'm like, no. It might be a guy's dream to do that, just not in this current situation, because that's not, no. So I eventually, after they got really fucking drunk and one puked, and I had to go kind of help clean up in the bathroom, even though I didn't work at that bar, but it's my friend's bar, and I know the bartenders, so I'm friends with them. I was like, I'm going to take care of that. You guys just do your thing. I'm gonna try and get them in a taxi and get them the fuck home. So eventually we did, after she went outside after chasing some military guys, because they're all locals, right, the three girls. And she was all over these dudes, and they looked at me, and I was like, I am so sorry, I don't know her, but I'm just trying to get them home. So eventually they're like, don't worry about it, we get it, you're a bartender at a different bar, we know you don't work here, however, like, just keep doing that and don't take her home. I'm like, I clearly fucking know that, but thank you for assuming the worst in me. So I got the taxi after I flagged one down, got them in there. The taxi driver looked at me, and I'm like, you just, one is sober. It's very easy to figure out which one's sober. So then eventually they left, and I went back inside, and they're like, dude, are you okay? I'm like, I'm completely fine. That's not the weirdest or like the worst thing that's happened to me from bartending or being around drunk people in general. Like, that's not what I meant. You have blood on your face. I'm like, oh, that makes a little bit more sense. So I cleaned up and I went outside. I'm like, all right, time to go to my other friend's bar to go say hi. And it was already 5:30. I'm like, fuck, they're closed.
Dude, you're a victim.
So the worst part of that story is, like, I know that taking home a drunk girl is a very bad idea. And I don't really like to drink, even though I'm very strong when it comes to alcohol.
Boo.
But for a slight moment, I was like, maybe this won't be such a bad idea. And I'm just like, why the fuck did I even think that?
I mean, okay, look, I'm just gonna put this out there because, like, think of me as like the worst human being, right?
Jesus
It's sometimes,
Christ.
like sometimes, you know, life will give you something, and you know you're faced with a choice, right? But you didn't go with that choice, so you are a better person than like literally a majority of these people, if we have to be completely honest.
I understand that, right? And like there's a lot of dudes, if I wasn't there, probably would have taken her home because she was willing to go home with literally anybody. But I guess the only sort of okay part was like she was only like that with me, so she probably wouldn't have gone home with anybody else. But I'm glad that it was with me so that I could get a taxi for her instead of somebody else that would have probably taken her home or to like a love hotel, because those guys all lived on base.
I mean, look, like,
As
you know,
terrible as that might sound.
I mean, it's terrible because it's fucking true. Like, we got, like, if we're gonna call a spade, like, if you think about it, right? Like, people will take free meat when it's given, despite the consequences of what might happen to said piece of meat. Whether, and this is a generalization, all right? Whether you are a dude or
Your
a chick,
analogies kill me.
Yeah, seriously.
whether
Every
you're a dude or a chick, all right? I don't care. This applies to every gender. But if there's a free piece of meat out in the wild, you know, some people will pounce on that shit and they will take full, like, hearty advantage, right?
Right.
But your mama taught you better than that because you ain't no bitch and you ain't no hoe.
Well, she
So
didn't teach
you
me
didn't
shit.
act.
But
You just like to
I
pay
would
for your
have,
meat.
because the thing is,
Your
right, for
hypothetical
me,
mama taught you better than that, all right?
even before I started bartending, right? Oh, wow, there was cat. Even before I started bartending, I went to bars. I went to hang out with friends at bars. It's still like, even if, let's say, a very attractive girl, right, was still slightly tipsy, and she's like, "Hey, you're really cute. Let's go somewhere." I'm like, haha, no, because you have alcohol in your system. And 0.03 blood alcohol level is actually when you start to lose your what's the word?
Cognitive.
Cognitive functions,
yeah.
I guess. Like, that's when it starts to kind of tilt in like a very, like, the not able to think straight way. And that's like 0.03 is like a shot of alcohol, like just a shot of vodka, like the weakest vodka will get you there most of the time. So that's why I was like, even if you had one shot, I would still be like, no, because I don't know how much you can tolerate, and I feel like it's a very bad idea. Because if, let's say, you regret the next day and you're like, hey, I regret it. Like, I'm not going to assume the worst in people, but if somebody's like, I kind of regret what happened, and I could say, well, I had some alcohol and he kind of took advantage of that. I'm like, I'm going to put myself in a situation where that's never going to be a fucking problem.
Yeah, see?
So,
You didn't, yeah, you're smart.
it's just the idea that, like, if she wasn't as bad as she was that night, like, even then, I still thought about, like, oh, maybe this might be kind of a good thing. And I was like, why the fuck did I think that?
I mean, it's
Because you're a human being.
yeah, like, everyone's gonna have that thought. Like, you're, like, you know, like I said, we're gonna call a spade a spade. Shit like that's gonna be, like, that shit's gonna come at you a lot.
No, yeah, I'm aware of that. And I, like, I'm glad I'm not how some of these other fuckers are, because they absolutely would have taken her home, and that would have been a very bad thing. Because
hey, you're not a douchebag.
Considering how things are in Okinawa, yeah, they will fully take advantage of girls like that, and it's happened, and that's how some people that I know ended up with a kid because of things like that happening, and the people that were supposed to take care of them kind of just said fucking and left. And there's a lot of 18, 19-year-old Marines and stuff, specifically Marines, and I say this because they're the biggest fucking problem in Okinawa, just saying. But they will try and go after these girls and try really fucking hard to take them home. Which is why at Treehouse, where I'm at right now, they try to do that shit. I'm like, hey, don't do that. They're like, I'm gonna talk to this girl. I'm like, you should really stop. I'm like, why? Because I'm gonna fucking do something about it if you keep giving her drinks. In fact, I'm gonna give you tequila and give her water. And then even if you take her home, you're not getting it up. So like things like that will happen, right? So I don't like that. That's the thing I hate about Okinawa, is literally that, is because of shit like that happens so fucking much.
I mean, no offense, there are people in the fucking military though, my guy.
They are. But it also is just like the culture of Okinawa, right? Like the people that kind of live in Okinawa, not people that have come from mainland Japan to Okinawa. I'm talking about people who grew up in Okinawa around a lot of foreigners. That's just like, why do you lower your standards so much? Stop that. And like maybe I take it a little personally because I'm half Japanese, but it's just like, what the fuck?
Have you ever heard of the fuck, what is that what's that thing that colleges do? The sorority effect.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah, so like I mean, you're on an island, right? You're on an island.
yeah.
And these people, like, you know, they're cut off from a majority of, like, let's just say normal people, right?
Yeah.
And so what's going to happen is there's going to be like a group of people that want to allow certain behaviors to be normalized, which turns into hurting people. And then it becomes normalized because these people just say, oh, well, you know, they've been doing it for so long, we can just allow it. And then so the sorority effect happens, where just everyone sees it happening and just goes, okay, this is normalized.
Right.
And but because you're going against the fucking grain and whatnot, you're considered weird because you're not like doing what other people do. And sad to say, that's actually extremely rare because everyone's a fucking cunt and would rather go with everybody else and what everyone else wants to do instead of being their own fucking like person.
Right.
Because people are fucking, I don't know, people suck. But also, if it was up to me,
I just like, I get all that, right? And I'm completely fine with, well, not fine, but like I understand why Okinawa is the way that it is. It's just like, like I told you before, but the one airman that I ran into when I first got to Okinawa is like, you're gonna love Okinawa, it's such a great place. I'm like, I'm sure it is. I've never been to this part of Japan, so it's very interesting to me. He's like, yeah, you're gonna love the view, you're gonna love the food, you're gonna love how easy the women are. And I was like, you're gonna have to rewind on that last one and say that again. And I was like, just wait a whole second. He's like, yeah, the women are really, really easy. I'm like, that's great for a fucking rapist, motherfucker. I don't want to hear that shit. He's like, all you gotta do is get them some alcohol. I'm like, you should really stop talking right now, because right now it's going into crime territory, and you're admitting doing a crime.
I'm telling you, it's been so normalized.
It is, and that's why it's like, fuck. But I'm just glad that people at least trust me, that I'm the guy that people can trust to take them home, because that's what I've been doing all weekend after I got off at the bar. So after I got those two girls in taxi, I was heading home. My friend called me. He's like, look, I'm at my bar, really fucked up. I'm trying to close. Can you come and help out? So I stayed for about another hour outside to like help him do whatever he needed to, and then I got him the fuck home. And then last night, it was so fucking bad. We didn't stop until about 3:30, I think. We like really fucking late. We had two motherfuckers that were so drunk, they broke 2 glasses in the stairwell and then threw up in the corner. I was like, you guys are just, like, who the fuck even does that? And some other guys were like, yeah, we told them, like, they need to leave. I'm like, thank you guys for doing that. I don't blame you guys. I blame the 2 fucking idiots that broke 2 glasses in the hallway and threw up in a corner, because apparently that's better than, like, at least puke outside the window that was literally built into the wall. Like, at least do that. Yeah, it's gonna fucking suck for somebody down there, but at the same time, it's not in the bar. Or you could just throw up in the potted plant. At least that's easier to clean. Like, you had so many options, and you chose to throw up in the corner of a stair. Anyway, so that happened, and we finally got home.
Throw up on you.
Well, no. So I went back to First Chance.
New
I hung
kink
out over
unlocked.
there. It's one kink I will never entertain, actually.
The puke
So I
kink.
went back to First Chance, and I was hanging out there a little bit. I'm like, thank God Bitey isn't here this time. Went to a couple other bars my friends were at, and they're just like, you look really tired. I'm like, yeah, I'm like, fuck. But at least the good news is I actually got invited to hang out with somebody I met at the bar, at my bar actually. And she's like, hey, let's go. Well, I invited her out to go get food at one point, and she's like, yeah, let's do that. And so we actually hung out. We spent literally about 7.5 hours together that day, and actually went pretty well. I'm like, you know what, this might not be a bad thing. And so like we started talking. We're like, you know what, I'm gonna actually give this a shot. So we are planning on hanging out again, maybe this weekend or whenever we have a chance. But I'll show you a picture of her later. But like, it was actually really well. I'm like, this is great. And then last night happened. I'm like, this fucking sucks. But it wasn't too bad during the day though.
Yo.
And now I'm kind of in that weird spot where like I woke up like after getting about 4 hours of sleep, and I woke up and like my brain is still kind of booting in, which is why I'm talking and acting the way I am, even though this is probably a little normal. So I'm a little tired, but hey, it's okay because I'm playing Resident Evil 4 and fucking, why am I narrating this?
Because you're tired.
That is a very good point, actually. Why am I even streaming right now? I should be asleep. Nope, I'm gonna
Because you
stream.
wanted to have the story out there to show that you're not part of rape culture.
Well, I'm
and
not
you
gonna tell
are
a story to
healthy-
prove that kind of point. I told a story because it's just something that happened. But that's also
Yeah,
like, I
but I
just
mean,
feel weird when
also-
people tell me like, you're such a nice guy. I'm like, that's great. Don't tell me that, because I feel weird when people say that to me.
that you're a nice
You don't want
guy.
to be a nice guy?
It's not that I don't want to be. It just feels weird when people tell me that. Like, you're like, oh, you're such a nice guy helping these people out. I'm like, I do it
Oh.
just because, like, it's just the right thing to do. Like, I see it as the right thing to do, not because I'm a nice guy. I don't know if that makes
mean-
sense, but, like, it's just,
Does, but that's your perception.
Yeah, it's like how Truff threw away his sex toy because he
What?
said that it didn't, that he was ashamed of it. See, like, it's all about perception, and
Mhm.
if you want to be not seen as a nice guy, I highly recommend Sucks to Suck, because you are a nice guy.
Yeah.
sucks to suck.
Sucks to Suck. Like, I mean, I don't know what to tell you, but like, it shows that you're also not part of like fucking like the gross normalities that is
Okinawa,
You know.
yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, no,
And,
it just felt weird that people would say that. I'm like, it's not weird that people think that. I'm glad people think that. It's just like, I don't know how to explain it. It just feels weird to hear it, if that makes sense.
You spin
I also got
me
told by my
right
therapist to stop
baby.
saying things are weird and actually describe them. And I was like, I don't know how. And he goes, you'll learn.
They
I'm
are
like,
odd.
"Ah, great. But yeah.
I'd probably be like, I'd probably tell you, just be like, oh, just be like, oh, that is odd.
And so,
Yeah, but
I
he
guess.
because I told him the same thing. Like, I spend most of my weekends after I'm at the bar. Like, I'll be out until like probably about 5 o'clock usually. But then if people like need rides home, like I'll either offer to call them a taxi, or I'll just give them a ride home myself. If they don't want to spend the money. There's also a different type of taxi called a daiko, which they will come with 2 taxis, or 2 people inside 1 taxi, and one of them will drive your car for you back to wherever your house is, wherever you're at. So that way you don't have to go back and get your car; they'll do it for you.
talk too much.
So that's why I offer, like, you guys want a ride? Like, I'm fine with giving you guys a ride. But then people like kind of get the wrong idea sometimes. Like, are you trying to take us home to your place? I'm like, no.
I mean, it's also good, like, if you think about it, okay, like, just saying, as a female, it's all for male. It's it's always good to have a precaution because just saying life is kind of uncertain, I guess you can say. So like it's not a hey fuck this guy kind of idea. Like I'm not trying to say like, oh, you're a bad guy. It's just like it's a precaution that every female is kind of like programmed to have.
Right.
And like sucks to suck that if you're just if people are like, but that's not me, it's like, okay, that's not you, but like it's you know when they say not all dudes, well sorry, like we're gonna have to put you in that because like it's you're seeing it for yourself. Like a majority of dudes are very gross.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
It's not your fault that like these girls are scared. It's just the fact of a matter of that the bad outweighs a lot of the good, unfortunately, and you just happen to be grouped in with people who are seen as the bad. Now, will it take time for people to see that you are of the good? Yeah.
Well, I mean, most of them are people that I don't even know, but like obviously the people that are around me that work at the other bars and stuff, like they know that I'm not gonna do anything like that, which is nice.
Yeah, they know you're not a cunt. They know you're not a cunt.
I like that. But Jesus, some of the shit that happens here, I was like, but,
I mean, think about.
Also, you missed out. So, sorry. But besides all that happening this weekend, I am now going to legal over my units and like how the unit's operating right now. There was a situation.
I thought you were gonna tell me you got a dog.
Well, I'm working on that still, but anyway, long story short, somebody said I did some things which wasn't true. Not like crazy things, but like we were in a vehicle and they claimed I cursed at them and said like a bunch of weird shit and I was refusing to help, which I said it's absolute shit. And I had somebody else who was mentioned on this piece of paper saying that this is what happened. I sent her a message like, did you really like say that? You weren't even there. She goes, I just repeated what she told me, and I showed the sergeant that was talking to that message, which clearly contradicts what's on paper, and he still doesn't want to get rid of it. So I'm like, I'm going to legal, and I'm going to handle this the legal way. He's like, you are well within your rights to do so. I'm like, you're goddamn right. So I'm going to do that, and I'm not going to just press charges or try and do shit against the person that's mentioned in the counseling. I'm also going to go after you because you didn't ask me anything about what happened. And literally, this happened on Monday. He didn't bring it up to me until Friday. I'm like, you had all this time to say something. He's like, well, I didn't know until Thursday night. I'm like, okay. So regardless of that, you had all day Friday after you heard about it on Thursday to ask me questions about what happened, but instead you sent it straight to paperwork. And he goes, well, that's why we're talking about this now. I'm like, no, that's not the point. The point is you had all day to ask me if this happened or not, but instead you went to paperwork. Why couldn't you just ask me if this happened or not? He goes, well, that's why we're having this conversation now. I'm like, that's not the fucking point. So eventually, no, he's stupid. I think he fucking realized like what I was trying to say, and he just wasn't gonna back down on that. But like, yeah, you're right. He's gonna be like, well, that's why I'm doing this now. I'm like, okay, even if I disagree with what's on here and we have this conversation, you're still gonna have me do the punishment like you did the last two times. The last two times there's already a lot of stuff going on that you didn't ask questions about and that turned out to be false, and you still made me sign this stuff. I don't have to sign it. I can disagree and argue it and take it up to my higher leadership, at which point I did, but nothing ever happened, and he blocked some of that shit too. So I told him, like, Monday morning I'm going to legal and I'm going to look for legal action against you and the person in this counseling, because like you had better options and you just did not take them because of it's me or because it's fucking you just don't give a fuck or what. But now I'm going to take this very seriously. So I have a copy of it sitting with me in my room, and I'm taking it tomorrow actually, to fucking do some legal shit. But I finally was like, fuck this place. That's what I'm doing. Fuck you guys. You're not going to dissuade me from doing it. So I talked to the commander first sergeant. They're like, we can try to move you away from him, away from the platoon, to a different platoon, perhaps even a different battery. but we don't know if we can't really guarantee that. I'm like, that's fine. You guys at least understand what's happening, and you guys at least are explaining the process to me. So that's already a giant step, because like a lot of the issues that led up to that, they didn't know any of that because they never got told any of that stuff. So I'm like, why are you not telling them that stuff? This is kind of fucking important, and per army regulation, you kind of have to tell them.
It's because they're pussies.
No, it's because he's stupid and he wants things to be done like his own certain way, which is not how it should be done. But either way, like, I already told him, like, I'm taking it to legal and I'm gonna do something about it. But that's been my entire week, was literally just stress over stress over stress.
I'm telling you,
this
you're
weekend
really
happened, and then that fucking thing happened on Friday, which ruined my whole fucking mood that day.
Yeah.
But like, I already talked to some people and they're like, you should really fucking take it up there. I'm like, I'm absolutely going to. So I don't know why the fuck this person started making up stories about me and shit, but something, like, if I have to ruin their fucking career, I'm gonna fucking ruin their fucking career.
Do
I'm
it.
not gonna
Fuck them up.
blame for that shit. But yeah, so that's my little fucking 27-minute rant about shit that happened this weekend.
Reason number 100.
Yeah. Oh, and so that's another thing I forgot, right? So after we hung out for about 7.5 hours, so she actually asked me at one point, like, she asked me, like, why haven't you, like, grabbed my arm or, like, held my hand or give me a hug? I'm like, because that's not a normal thing. She goes, it's not? I'm like, no. I'm like, why do you think that? She goes, well, whenever I go out to the bars or on that street, a lot of guys just kind of, like, wrap their arm around me or, like, try and, like, hold my hand or whatever. I just thought it was, like, an American thing. I'm like, no, that's not an American thing. That's a piece of shit thing. She goes, well, I'm so glad I asked you, because I always thought it's just an American thing. And she said that one of the owners at the bar that's out there would, every time they, like, she knows him, but they're not, like, close friends or anything, but he would always, like, kiss her cheek or kiss her forehead before she left, and she always found that really creepy. I'm like, you are more than, like, welcome to say things like just tell them to stop. It's not an American thing. And I feel like people are trying to fucking, like, hide that shit on purpose from you, just to act like, oh, it's a normal thing, and it's not. But that's why, like, when I offered, like, is it okay if I give you a hug? And she goes, no, not this time. I'm like, that's perfectly fine. I understand. We'll take it slow and see what happens. I'm fine with that. So that was just one other thing that popped up. I was just like, what the fuck? Why do people do this shit here?
It's because they're shitty.
I'm like, you guys wouldn't do this in the States, and yet you guys...
Yeah, they
still will. Yeah, they would.
Yes, they would.
Yeah, they would.
100%. That happens here all the time.
I mean, look,
That's just normal course of action for being a girl.
just saying, dude, if this is happening and you're in the Nihons, imagine the shit that happens in the Americas and the people who don't stop it. Like, for real.
Yeah.
Like, it's probably, I think it's probably worse in the Americas, because they're, women, we're gross, we're stigmatized, and people still hate us women. Japan, yeah, they hate the women, but, like, it's just part of a culture.
Yes. I don't know, though, because, like, there's a few things that people would do out here that they would never do in the States. Like,
I don't know. I've had random people grab my boobs while I was with my husband, grab my pussy while I was with my husband. So I 100% think that is just a bad person thing, not a where you're at thing.
right. I don't know. It's just, I don't know, because, like, one other thing that happened in Okinawa while I was here was that people took, like, a little, like, statue from a restaurant, and the restaurant owner was like, hey, I don't care who you guys are, we just want the thing back, we're not going to press charges or whatever else, we just want that statue back. And people were defending it. I'm like, wow. And, like, they would never do that in the States, because they know better that in the States they would actually get arrested and shit, but they would do it here because they just don't really care, whatever.
Because respect isn't a fucking thing anymore, my guy.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, spade's
Sorry.
spade.
This turned out to, like, playing games and streaming and having fun to, like, weird bitching moments with me and Okinawa. Sorry, I didn't mean to do it that way.
How dare you?
Oh no!
I'm being
how-
considerate. I want to have fun with you guys because it's been a while since we streamed together.
yeah. You're
So-
fucking
You asking me if I
I
wanted
don't
to have
mean
fun
to-
with you? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
You know what, Scoob? Maybe you know what? Fine, I see
Chicken
how
butt.
it is.
Love you, Ren.
Yeah.
Butt of the chicken.
Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah.
we,
So that's
we fart,
yeah.
We
Okay,
fart
okay.
from there. So what?
But yeah, so that's
What are
been
you
my.
gonna see? Are you gonna test it, Beast?
Yeah.
What's about to happen?
I heard all the characters are they're T-posing too. So Phasmo released April Fool's update
Ooh.
where apparently, am I gonna ruin it for you? Apparently all the ghosts and everybody have big heads and all the characters are T-posing.
I kind of want to play Phasma now. Actually, once I'm done with this fucking stupid boss fight, I spent way too much time bitching about Okinawa versus actually playing.
Boo. Boo.
I'm fighting fucking Ramon.
Ooh, he's got tentacles.
He does.
Oh, BT dubs. BT dubs. Don't tell her I told you. But Fairy and
He's
Sang.
streaming.
I am streaming. You should probably just send me a message.
Fairy, yeah, we gotta be there for our homie Fairy because I love her.
I'm
gotta send her some
assuming it
good-
has to do with what's his face.
Send her some good vibes.
She doing okay?
Send her some good vibes.
I'll
Send
a
her some-
message.
Send her some good vibes. Thank you.
We'll talk about it. I've actually been talking to her a lot lately.
Good.
Watch your language, my lord.
I like Fairy.
Yeah, we need to send her some good vibes because she's wonderful and she's beautiful and she deserves people in her life who aren't assholes.
Yeah, she needs some support. And I know that it's also just kind of being in California and like
The trash is gonna take itself out soon, so it doesn't matter.
I feel so bad. I was like, fuck, it's such a. I can't say it. She let me in on some of the stuff that's going on. That's why.
Once you stop streaming, well, she'll open up to who she wants to, cause
Because she and you guys are like my best friends.
she's
So
my no.
I
Well,
wanna
fuck you,
make
she's my
sure-
homie.
You can have multiple
Dude,
best
she's my
friends, you
homie.
fucking dick. God.
No.
She needs some good vibes.
I want to make sure, like, I bitch enough about my life. I want to make sure you guys are good. You guys are more than welcome to come to me and be like, hey, I need to complain for 3 hours. I'm like, bro, complain for 5. I'm fine with it.
Complain for 5. You have 3 seconds. After that,
Yeah.
I'm blowing you up.
Right?
She needs some good vibes, so for real.
I think we all need to
I mean, I'm. Yeah, send her some good vibes.
Yeah, I got you. Stabby.
How? I've shot you in the fucking face 4 times. How have you not died? I'm sorry. An arrow to the face once, you're gonna die. 4 times?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like people could survive that.
It was right between his fucking eyes. Unless he got no brain.
No brain. I do need to stream more often, though. Jesus Christ, I keep saying
Ah!
that.
I'm actually gonna start streaming Kingdom Hearts tomorrow.
Ooh.
All
That's
day
such a
Monday.
good game.
Shut that mother.
Well, I'm gonna start
which
with 2
one?
because I hate 1.
Oh.
So I'm gonna play 2 then 3.
I
As I
tried
hate-
to. So the only one I played was part of 1 because 3 was coming out.
Oh, you need to play 2.
I couldn't do 1. I couldn't. I just couldn't.
2
do
is so much better. 2 is so much better. Yeah, I played. Well, okay, I could be biased. So I played 2 first, and then I went back to play 1, and the controller dynamics pissed me off, and the battles pissed me off. Everything about fucking 1 pissed me off.
Right.
The only reason I ever played it again was because they released a damn 1.5 and 2.5.
Right.
Ugh. Oh. But yeah, I like 2. 2's the best. I'd rank them 2, 3, and 1 for the main games.
If it's any consolation, Scoob, I got the game when I was in like elementary to middle school because it came out in like I think like what 2005.
Didn't they announce another one actually? Another Kingdom Hearts?
They're
game?
gonna make a Kingdom Hearts for you.
Yeah, see, that's the one. But now
Wait,
it's like
what?
in a regular.
Really?
Yeah. Did you not see that?
I didn't know that. No, I didn't see that.
Oh.
But it makes sense because of how so when you beat 3, they made a trailer for like the Keyblade Wars.
Oh,
and so
that's
that
right.
makes
yeah,
sense if maybe it's gonna be the Keyblade Wars. So maybe I'll start with 3 and then I'll go to 2. I don't know.
It's so confusing because like when I was talking to my friend about it, right? He was mentioning that that all the games are canon. So like even the mobile game is canon. Even the fucking small little anime
How old
series they
am
did
I?
is canon. So it's all connected. So like you got to read up on everything. Otherwise you're gonna be behind. It's like, how the fuck?
Well, and I think there's 9 or 10 games right now. 2.8, which was Aqua's, was awful because it was so fucking short.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Scoob, that game came out when I was 8. The first game came out when I was 8. And,
What year was that?
Old.
I'm just kidding.
So it came out in 2002.
Oh god, I was almost graduating high school.
Initial release
2002.
date was March 28th, 2002. So Baby Visa played Kingdom Hearts, and Baby Visa was in this mindset where she thought everything was real and society was based off of these things that were real, because I thought cartoons are real too. And so when the fucking I also didn't have a memory card for the PS2 at the time.
Oh,
So Baby Visa replayed the opening like 10 times
oh
because
god, and that's fucking long as hell.
and then Baby Visa had a nightmare of the shadows popping out of the PS2, so I stopped playing the game until I got into middle school.
Jesus.
So Baby Visa only started playing the game after like, how old are people when they're in middle school? Like 13, right? When I stopped being retarded, and I was just like, I'm gonna play
I
this
stopped
game.
being retarded. You never stopped, Lisa.
So yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Wow. Wow. My husband had already graduated high school by the time that game came out.
Bro.
Let's see.
I'm
I
telling
graduated
you.
high school in 2013.
Oh no, it's downloading. It means that it's going away.
What is?
Oh, they're forcing a download on Phasmo, which makes me think that it's going away.
I can't look
They're
in
in England, so it's
It's already the second.
Probably.
Yeah.
yeah.
They should have left it for the weekend. That probably would have been hilarious. Yeah, I just saved, so I'm gonna join you in a bit. I'm actually gonna end this stream. I'll stream.
Oh no,
it
you're
later.
fine. I smell weed. My neighbors are
Smell weed.
smoking. So.